Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing good. If you're new here, my name is Lex Morningstar and this YouTube channel is about the 16 personality types and the human condition. Now before I begin this video, I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers on this channel. I am so over the moon about this. If I'm completely honest, I didn't really intend for this channel to reach this kind of milestone. I started this channel as a little hobby and almost in a way like a virtual diary to help me understand myself better and to connect with people like you guys. And it happened that way. But as a result, I also have had you wonderful subscribers subscribe to my channel, and for that, I'll forever be thankful. So this video today is due from popular request. A lot of you younger generations out there, of course, sub to my channel. You guys are INFPs, and you guys have requested for me to do a video of the INFP teenager. This video will be about me talking with you guys about my high school experience and my experience being an INFP teenager. Ways to survive being an INFP teenager, because I went through some stuff that even to this day I still hold on to. I have had a very mixed experience at high school and a mixed experience being an INFP teenager. Now, if you are of Generation Z, you will, well, I guess hopefully be able to relate to these points or get something out of them. But even if you are a millennial like myself or above, then I hope you can kind of watch through these points I'm going to be talking about and have a little chuckle to yourself. I really hope you can relate to them. So what I consider to probably be the most important thing of surviving your teens as an INFP is to put yourself as number one. You guys are the types of people who will care for people undeniably, put other people first, care about what others think of you, take on board what others think of you. Like, whether they like you or they don't like you and they share their opinions about you, you'll take that on board. And you will get to the point where you're just going to end up dwelling on so many things and so many people's opinions. Oh my God. It's like bucketing down, bro. I hope you guys love the rain as much as me. The door's open. I'm trying to let as much light in here as possible, so I always have issues with my natural lighting, but who cares? So essentially, people can be horrible. Whether you're at high school or you're not at high school or wherever you are, there will always be people that are going to be mean and horrible and don't get you or who you are or what you represent. Like, that's just a matter of life, and it can become really exhausting when you're trying to fit into this mold of this kind of culture that is set at high school. You're going to get people who are going to peer pressure you. You're going to get people who talk behind your back, who even go as far as to bully you, to call you names, to exclude you, to everything else under the sun, and it's going to hurt. And it's exhausting to deal with. It is exhausting to try to live up to those people's expectations and to fit into this stupid mold. To top it off, you'll find that it happens after high school as well. Like, you are not exempt from this kind of culture after high school. And in many ways, it is harder to be able to find people that you fit in with after high school, after you leave. So my advice is to never compromise yourself just to fit into any kind of mold or to gain anyone's approval. And I know that this will eventually come easier for you guys, because as being the INFP personality type, you don't want to compromise who you are. You are uniquely yourselves, and that's something that you guys pride yourselves on. But it can be so much harder in high school when you just have all this kind of peer pressure around and you are naive and easily kind of persuaded. And I'm not meaning that in a derogatory term. Like, that's just part and parcel of being young. Like, you're on this journey of self-discovery. So you can very easily be molded by the people around you, and it's not always in a positive light either. You will find that once you just accept who you are and you are unapologetically yourself and you don't change to meet the needs of the peers around you, you will find that that's going to continue to stay with you after high school, which is where you kind of really need it. It will build your self-esteem. It will make you a warm-blooded creature. So I certainly had my fair share of like trying to fit in and then realizing that that was just such a waste of time. So I wasn't the slimmest person back in high school, right? And in one of my classes, there were two of us named Alex, because that's my name, Alexandra. This boy in my class used to refer to me as Fat Alex because he was just trying to differentiate between this other Alex and me. The thing is, the other Alex was a guy, so all they needed to say was girl Alex. But he decided to pick on me in a way that was going to hurt me. And yeah, I've had many experiences like that in high school as well, where I'm just like, nah, you know what? I want to surround myself with people who are going to grow my corn and who are going to nurture my progression of life. And that I did fine. I actually ended up hanging out with many of the international students, especially people from like Hong Kong, from Japan. I found people like that incredibly refreshing. And I also found that people like that, when they entered my life, that they had so much to teach me in terms of their own kind of culture and the things that they were into. And I found that even with certain language barriers, that I could connect with them on a much larger scale than the other situations that I had been in. So moving on to the second point, and that is don't be too hard on yourself. Now, I still need to apply this one to my life. I'm not out of the woods with this one, so I can still relate. I think if many of you guys were like me at high school, you guys would have put tremendous amounts of pressure on yourselves to get things right all the time and have it all together and to be good at the things you wanted to be good at, to get the grades, to have your life together, to not be so blowing in the wind or whatever's going on in your life right now. And I'm here to say, high school, being a teenager, is about making your mistakes. It's about figuring out who you are. It's about exploring yourself, exploring your identity, getting things wrong. To start with, you don't need to ace absolutely everything in your classroom, okay? If you are bad at certain things, don't sweat it. Yes, try your best, learn from your mistakes, etc. But don't sweat the fact that you might be having a hard time in certain classes, or that you might be having a hard time in certain groups or certain situations where you feel like you might not fit well with it, or you might feel like it's not really working out for you and you want to change something. This is the time now to make those changes, to make your mistakes, and to explore everything that you can. I'm still barely keeping it together, and there are people like in their 30s, 40s, 50s who still don't have it all together, and that's just part of the human condition, baby. Like, that's really normal. You know, the irony about school is the fact that it's about learning, right? So you're there to kind of figure out who you are and to find the things that you're good at. But many a times, schools put so much pressure on people to succeed and to have it all figured out. And they ask, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And the answer should be, for many people, don't know yet. I'm just figuring it out. So my partner, James, right, he is a musician and a corporate vocalist. And at high school, he didn't actually take a music class until his very last year. And when he did decide to do music on his last year, he wanted to make singing his kind of thing. I'm not really sure how their system worked or anything. But the teacher had said to him, oh no, sorry, you can't make singing your main instrument because you would have had to have vocal lessons for 5 years prior. So he was actually telling me about this last night, and I absolutely scoffed at it because I thought, wait a second. This is not James trying to get a promotion in his job. This is James learning about who he is as a teenager at high school, where you're supposed to not know what you want to do. Oh, there's Chase on the case. When he wanted to make singing his main instrument, they wouldn't let him because they were treating him like he was a 35-year-old man in a job trying to get a promotion. And I also know that it's probably a very similar concept to all you guys. In your learning institution, how do they contribute to you making your mistakes and you trying to figure out who you are? Because I bet not many, if any. But on a plus note, it is good to understand that school is not the be all and end all. So you can do like poorly at school, like to their standards, and then still go on a kick life's butt afterwards. Like, that is super doable. And that's what happened with James. Like, yeah, he didn't make singing his main instrument in his last year of school, but now he is a corporate musician. Now he is a session musician, and he's making really good money from it. Clearly, don't get me wrong, like, stay in school kind of thing, but don't put so much emphasis on trying to ace absolutely everything and put so much pressure on yourself to have it all figured out. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Because once you let that go, and once you allow yourself to make mistakes and make a little bit of a fool of yourself, and once you allow yourself to explore your options, you will find that the things that you really want to do will eventually attract themselves to you. And it will end up becoming this natural process of finding who you are without it being 100% forced. So, moving on to the next one, which is live in the moment. Now, I know that is probably going to be quite hard for many of you guys, because I know that as INFPs, we do have a tendency to overthink things, be anxious about certain things, always think, what if, always look at the big picture. And, you know, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I do have to say with that though, that in high school, it can be really hard. Like, as a teenager, you guys have so many issues. There are like all your hormones racing around your body. You have to deal with all these social issues and this kind of culture that you have to fit into at high school, and then that comes with its own crap, you know, going back to point one. But I do have to say, like, despite that, life does get harder than that. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but, well, generally speaking, it does. Like, clearly not everyone has a harder time after high school. Some people actually like it better, but if you're like me, you might struggle with life a little bit more after high school. And the reason for that is because our society's not really set up for creatives. Like, yes, there's certain things that you can do, like you can be a graphic designer, like there's lots of jobs in that realm. You can be a writer, you can be a musician. There are so many different creative outlets that you can really try, and you're allowed to not know indefinitely what you want to do and explore things. That's absolutely fine. But the hardest part is knowing that even despite having those things to go into, that society has a very rigid structure and it's not set up for you. It's kind of set up to exploit you. So you get to a point, especially when you have to start paying your own bills, like you have to start paying rent or a mortgage or your power, and you got other things to deal with, like a crappy boss and crappy co-workers, and even like at some points getting fired from things, or, you know, life happens. Your health might go down the drain and you have to somehow manage it. You have to somehow still be okay. And for me, actually, it wasn't really until my first child came along that I ended up having postpartum depression. And since then, I have been having this ongoing battle with anxiety and depression. And of course, I ended up homeless. So I have had issues in my life where I've had to really do the grind, and it's been really difficult at times. And of course, at high school, it can be totally hard for you guys too. Like, I get that many of you are probably bullied, and many of you don't fit in to certain groups, or you dread waking up in the morning because you just don't want to go to school because it's hard. I totally and undeniably understand that, because I had instances at high school where I was just like, nah, don't want to go. Like, especially during music class, actually. Like, in my music class, when I was 15, I was doing vocals, and I also played a little bit of guitar. So vocals was my main instrument. Now, part of one of my assessments was we had to join a band, and at the end of the term, we had to perform like 3 different pieces or something to an audience. So anyway, the band that I went in, the lead guitarist kind of took over the whole thing, and he wanted to do all this 80s rock music that at that stage I couldn't really sing. I didn't really know how to apply different techniques to be able to make it work for me. And as a result, I'm just like, yo, like I can't do these songs. Can we just make a compromise and do something I can actually sing? What ended up happening was the rest of the band actually ganged up on me. And I ended up playing the tambourine. And that's it. At our assessment, when we were performing to the audience, I was playing tambourine, for crying out loud. And it was the guitarist, who wasn't a proclaimed vocalist, he was the one doing the vocals. You know, as a result, I actually did end up talking to my teacher, who didn't do anything about it. It was like he didn't even want to be there. But that affected my confidence so much. It made me not want to go back to school. Like, I hated music class, and it was destroying my love and my passion for art, for music. These stupid kids who had no respect for me and who made my life hell every time I tried to do well in music or tried to just be myself in my music class. Just didn't work out for me. So I totally get that in those instances it's so hard to live in the moment because you just want it to be over. You just want to leave. But even though I struggled with things like that, it wasn't that my life was going to improve magically once I left, that I would have different issues that I would have to deal with. And that I think that living in the moment should 100% be applied to myself. To being an adult, I should be living in the moment more. I think that everyone could benefit from living in the moment, because the moment right now is all you have. Tomorrow is not promised, as cheesy as that sounds. You will have moments where you feel good at school, where you feel good being the age that you are, and hold on to those moments because they might not always come around again. So I want to ask you, like, is there something going on in your life that can give you a glimmer of hope? What is that? Pop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. So moving on to the last one, and that is work hard. And that is not just in high school, not just with your subjects, but work hard at yourself. So high school is said to prepare you for the rest of your life. So it's to prepare you for what's around the corner, a new job that you might go into, or maybe being able to pay bills, although school's not really good for that. But that's what they make you believe. One thing that I completely regret as a teenager was not getting my driver's license. Now, I was living in my own bubble. I was a very idealistic kid. All I really wanted to do was focus on the things I was passionate about, focus on reading. Like, I really enjoyed to be able to sit down with a novel, and there were points where my mum actually let me skip school to stay home and read, but we won't talk about that. Sorry, Mum. But, you know, as a result, because I was quite easily distracted and just wanted to do my own thing, I forgot to really pay attention to more reality-based things that would have helped me when I left school and prepared me for life. As an adult, it has been so much harder and embarrassing. Like, as a mother to 2 children, I didn't even have my learner's license, and I psych myself out too much because I'm just like, well, I'm in my mid-20s and there are like people who are 15 years old that are doing better than me. You know, that's kind of how it felt. And obviously also made it harder that because I'm a mother, there's things that I needed to be able to do, like drive my kids around instead of having to rely on like public transport or James. But I finally now do have my learners, of course, and it took a little bit of mind over matter to get there because, again, I did psych myself out. And I found it like really awkward, like being this person in her mid-20s going for my learner's license, you know? So any chance you get, learn how to pay the bills. When your parents are organizing certain things that are quite life grindy, pay attention to what they're doing. Ask them how they go about paying the bills or sorting life's trivialities. Get involved when your parents are cooking. If one of your parents is like changing a tire, get yourself involved, learn how to do it because it's going to help you later on in life. Contrary to the second point, I think it's so important to also chase down the things that you are passionate about. If you have a love of something, whether it's like a sport or an instrument or you're a fine artist, keep practicing. Keep focusing on your life path. Like if you have your peers at school who are going out partying or gaming too much, and you don't want to be a part of that, even if you feel pressured to do so, and you would rather just focus on these other things that make you feel better, then I highly encourage you to keep chasing down your dreams, keep pursuing your projects, keep practicing, keep making those mistakes, because it is certainly going to pay off once you leave school, and you will thank yourself so graciously for giving yourself the opportunity to be motivated and to do the things that you really love to do. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I was a huge drama fan and I did really well in my drama classes. Taking the time to go that extra mile with my homework and do the best that I possibly could. And yeah, I made so many mistakes in drama class as well. But I gave myself that extra push to go the extra mile to try and go for that first in drama, which I did get, which was great. Working hard like that will set you up for life, because life, again, it's a grind. And you have to work hard in order to make it. Success does not happen without tremendous amounts of hard work. Like, you're not supposed to give up. And it's also about making mistakes. It's about many mistakes and not being so hard on yourself for making those mistakes either. So I want to know what you guys think. What are some of the things that you really love about school? What are some of the things that you don't really like about school? What are the things that you love to pursue in your spare time? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope that this video helped you in some way, shape or form. If it didn't, I'm sorry. I'll see you guys all again for the next video. I'm actually thinking of doing a little Halloween special. So that actually, you know what, might be the last video before I head to Vegas, so stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys, for now, have a really good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you guys are in the world. I'll see you guys all again next time. Bye!